going on? Let me go and bring on the man, the myth, the legend, the night owl. What is going on, my friend?
¿Qué pasa, qué pasa, qué pasa, qué pasa? My beloved members of the Wrestle Talk family. Nightmare Jones, we're back, baby! Episode 175, and it's the last one of 2017, man. I am so fired up. I want to thank everybody for being here. Nightmare, how the hell you been, bro?
I've been good. Had a good Christmas. Been dealing with this head cold, but I'm slowly and surely surviving it. So we've all had head colds, and you can't breathe. You get the sinus pressure, all that fun stuff. But I'm here. That's all that matters, right?
Dude, that is all that matters. Well, you know what? It's not all that matters, Nightmare Jones, because as important you are, there is someone, or I should say some people, that are more important than even you and me. And that is the beloved members of the Wrestle Talk family. Checking us out right now on Facebook Live. And many of whom will listen to us on replay throughout the remainder of the week into 2018. Nightmare, I can't tell you, man. It's hard to believe that we've now been doing this show together for 175 episodes, bro. It is blowing my freaking mind. I can't even begin to describe how fun it has been. But 2017 in particular, dude, has been a very special year for the Wrestle Talk podcast, man. And I wanted to make sure I got this out of the way early, bro. Thank you for letting me be a part of it. Thank you for letting me come on board with the Wrestle Talk podcast, bro. We've had a lot of success over the last year, but man, none of this would have ever happened, bro, if you had not started the Wrestle Talk podcast. And you know what's really interesting, Joe? You actually tell the story of the Wrestle Talk podcast in blog format, and I believe you call it the evolution of a podcast, available for you guys 24/7 at WrestleTalkPodcast.com. Is that right, Nightmare Jones? Did I get all that correct?
That is correct. That is correct. I did write a blog called The Evolution of a Podcast that basically tells the story of how I started the podcast and basically how it went from being a show that had maybe 2 viewers to a show that has 800, 900, even 1,000 viewers. We've got over 6,000 likes on our Twitter account. We've got over 2,000 likes on our Facebook account, and the cool thing about having ACH tonight is, a lot of you don't know this, but Rene has been wanting to have ACH on the show for quite some time, and how great is it that the final show of 2017, we made that happen, and we have ACH on the show.
Dude, you know what? It is crazy, but you all know that at the same time, we're men of faith. And as crazy as it is, dude, it is just as much a blessing to have a man of the talent and skill of ACH joining us. And a lot of people, and we'll ask him more about this when he comes on here in the second hour, but ACH stands for Attitude, Charisma, Heart. Now, it may also have something to do with the initials of his name, but hey, I like Attitude, Charisma, Heart, and for all I know, that's his real name, so let's just go with that, Nightmare. I like it. What do you think?
Exactly. Now, we can't just give all the credit to me and you. There's one other person that deserves just as much credit, and that is the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Luke Skywalker Roberts.
Oh, dude, the Skywalker.
The guy for wrestling.
Yeah, well, if you allow me, Joe, and I know we're going to get into high spots here in a second, I want to encourage you guys to dial that number, man. We want heavy callers this week on the show. One, because we're lazy and it's easier for us to just let you guys take over the show. And number two, the shows with that have a bunch of callers always seem to be the most entertaining. Like our show last week where we had the Suplex Cyclone, Kurt Gannon. Man, we had a bunch of callers that show, Joe, and I thought it was a great show, not only because the Cyclone was on, but also because of the amount of people that decided to be a part of the show. And so we want to encourage you guys to go ahead and dial that number, and I'm getting ready to post it on the Facebook Live thread. While I do that, man, tap the screen. I always love seeing stuff fly across the screen on the Facebook Live, and share this thing. More importantly, share it so other people can enjoy the sultry sounds of Nightmare Jones and the Night Out. While I post this number, and while you guys share and like this broadcast, and share it if you're listening to it on the replay, we are actually going to queue up Carl Lewis. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to queue up Carl Lewis as we ask everybody to remove their caps, put their hands over their hearts as we pay homage to the greatest country on God's... Wait, hold on, Joe. I got my Mexican flag up right now, but I'm going to switch it to the good old Stars and Stripes. The good old USA. Let's pay homage, baby. America, damn it.
Say, can you see? And the rocket. Uh-oh. I'll make up for it now. Oh, the land of the free.
Brings a tear to my eye every single time. And not only was Christmas just a couple of days ago, but it was also our favorite day, which is every day is this.
It's Rusev Day. It's Rusev
Day. Oh my goodness. Joe, I love Rusev Day because it is every day, bro. I absolutely love it. Love it, love it. So listen, Joe, I know we're going to get into high spots, man, but again, I want to remind everyone to dial that number during the high spots segment. We basically talk wrestling. We got a couple of things we want to get into. The XFL, Rollins and Jordan, Final Battle at ROH, the New Japan Pro Wrestling video game that's been rumored. But honestly, there's tons more going on in wrestling than what we want to, that these couple of things that we want to tackle. So, I mean, if you love talking wrestling, man, join us. Dial that number one last time. It is 657-383-1521. And again, if you are listening to us on the replay on iTunes, please leave a rating and share. If you're listening to us anywhere else, please share. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. It's currency to us when you share and tap the screen. Please do that. That's all that we ever ask for, no doubt. And we also ask that you join us at the live events, man. We got another one coming up at the end of January for the Royal Rumble. Location yet to be revealed. But I'll tell you this much, man. The last couple that we've done, Nightmare Jones, you were here for a few of them. They were off the heezy for sheezy, baby. Off the heezy. You dig me?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The first one I was at was actually at the Sukasa at your house, and we had a cook-off and whatnot, and then the second one was at Rockstar Burgers, and boy, that SmackDown burger. Oh, my goodness.
Yo, shout out to Badass Bones, representing Central Kansas, the baddest mother lover in Kansas, baby. Yeah, you probably catch Bones in action, man. January 13th, Kansas, KCXW, baby. January 13th, yours truly will be in-house wrestling for pets. KCXW, KCK doing big things over there, man. But you know what? Let's go ahead and get into high spots. Nightmare Jones, let's get that music queued up, baby, and let's talk wrestling for the next 20 to 25 minutes or so.
Earthlings, we have now taken over your radio.
Hit 'em high, hit 'em high, hit 'em high. If you hit 'em low, hit 'em low, hit 'em low.
Take it away, Nightmare.
What is awesome? Well, it seems like we have a caller, so let's go ahead and bring on this caller and see what topic they want to talk about tonight on the high spots.
Let's do it.
Alex from Troy, Missouri. What do you got for us tonight, sir?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What up, Alex?
Topic I want to talk about tonight. What's going on? Topic I want to talk about tonight is Woken Hardy.
Woken Matt Hardy. That's always a hot topic, man. What are your thoughts on Woken Matt Hardy?
Well, a couple days ago at the live event at the 205 Live, they debuted his new theme song, which is very similar to the one back in Impact, TNA, or whatever you want to call that. And I find it funny that they have just pretty much said, you know what, we're just going to use the character, because nothing's officially been announced that they've gotten ownership of the character or anything like that.
Well, you know what, Alex? Let me jump in here real quick. I did see a report from Pro Wrestling Insider that TNA had actually dropped the suit against WWE for the gimmick, and because WWE likes to stay one step ahead of everybody else, they decided to kind of take the character but change it just to avoid any possibility of legal action in the future. But let's just be honest, man. This isn't the first time that Vince McMahon rips off a character from another promotion. I mean, when you stop and think about it, and I think it's kind of peculiar because you'll have guys come over from other promotions, and some of them will come in with a brand new name, but then some guys are allowed to keep their names. Like, I'll give you an example. Hideo Itami, right? Kenta came in as Hideo Itami, but Shinsuke Nakamura came in as Shinsuke Nakamura, which he already was. So I'm kind of wondering and curious. Like, I'd like to be a fly on the wall during these meetings over at WWE headquarters and see and hear what goes into making these decisions. Yes, you can keep your name. Because, I mean, if you look at the Undisputed Era, okay, all those guys got to keep their gimmick. Bobby Fish is Bobby Fish. Kyle O'Reilly is Kyle O'Reilly. Adam Cole is Adam Cole. But then some guys aren't allowed. So I'm curious, Alex, what do you think about that? What do you think plays into that, man?
Well, like Adam Cole and all those guys that came over from ROH and New Japan, a lot of those guys trademarked their name, which was smart by them, like AJ Styles. You know, he trademarked AJ Styles. That's why he's still the phenomenal one and can use his logo anywhere he goes, which is smart because a lot of guys don't do that. I just think it's funny as far as the Woken character. You know, I know they were in the lawsuit since back in February, March, you know, right before Mania. And now it's been, you know, close to a year that they're just now like, well, you know, now that we finally won this, let's go ahead and introduce it to, you know, the WWE side of things. And I'm curious as how, you know, if they're going to do like a final deletion or, you know, something along them lines, you know, just as far as are they going to do like something at the Hardy compound or something like that.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. And, you know, as you know, Alex, you've been tuning into the show a lot here frequently. And, you know, the Wrestle Talk family is quite vocal. And I got people here talking about, you know, Vince reusing other people's gimmicks. For example, Dingo and Ultimate Warrior. You think about kind of what they did with Hogan. They stole that gimmick from somebody else, kind of. And then recently, you think about the Ascension, which in a lot of ways is a bit of an LOD ripoff. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them try to pull an angle like that, especially when they kind of try to do the same thing that the Hardys did with the New Day against the Wyatts. You guys remember that goofy thing that they did out like in some... It was like the Wyatt complex. Or Joe, you want to jump in here? Because yeah, I mean, Joe, if you want to jump in here real quick, because I think it's a fairly common thread. The question is, are they doing it right? I think they're doing the Woken thing pretty well, but I'm curious to hear what you think, Joe.
I think that they are definitely doing it pretty well. I don't think that it's gotten as much praise as when they did it in TNA. I mean, I think that a lot of people are seeing it as, they took this gimmick that worked in TNA and they decided to go ahead and use it. And it's not something that the WWE hasn't done before. I mean, you've got the Demolition that were obviously knockoffs of the Legion of Doom. And so, it's just, I'm interested to see exactly how they're going to do this and where they're going to go with this. I hope that it's not just a one match with Bray Wyatt and then all of a sudden he's back to Matt Hardy. Because that would just be a complete waste.
That would be it.
Now, my other question to you guys is, do you think that they would put the Universal title on Woken Matt Hardy?
I'll let you tackle that one first, Nightmare.
The Universal title, I think that they could literally do that, and it would be huge. But I don't think that if they did that he would stay the champion very long with wrestlers such as Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, and so I don't see him holding it for very long.
Right. I completely agree with you guys. It's just I see these gimmicks that they keep doing, and we haven't really seen a match from the new Matt Hardy since he turned Woken, and so I'm kind of curious to see what he's going to do in the ring now. Now we kind of got a glimpse of it on Monday, but we really haven't gotten like a full-on, oh, hey, it's a Hardy versus Wyatt match.
You know what? That's a great point because I think they're trying to build it. And I actually was commenting to a good friend of ours, Joe, Sonny Money Mayo, who was hanging out with me last night. Shout out to my compadre, Sonny. We were talking about like how to preserve people's interests in the character. And I had mentioned to him that I thought that so far they've done good because something like what Matt is doing, any mistake or any breaking of the character during, let's just say, a live promo in the ring can be catastrophic at this point, especially since they're still trying to gauge whether or not people are still interested in it. So I thought they did something genius this past Monday. Everything they've done with him up to this point has been like vignettes and pre-recorded stuff, which I think is really great. But you'll notice what they did with him in the ring, they didn't really have him say anything. They just had him come in and like laugh, right? He did that like weird laugh, like to the point where it kind of got awkward. And I thought it was good because that awkwardness is the broken, woken Matt Hardy gimmick. That's like the whole gimmick, right? Him being awkward and just kind of strange all the way around. So I think so far they've done a good job. I just hope that they don't let him grab the mic and just start rambling and talking to the point where you're just like, okay, this is not nearly as good as it was in Impact. So
right.
My point is protect him as long as you need to. And unfortunately, one of the things that you're going to have to do to protect him is keep him out of matches against guys that are a lot more physically capable, because let's just be honest, as great as the character is, Matt and Jeff, with all due respect, they're legends in their own right, but they're limited. They're physically limited. They can't compete with some of the guys that are currently working right now because of their youth and athleticism. So let's hope they continue to preserve the character as long as possible by keeping him out of harm's way. Just one man's thoughts.
Right. I completely agree. My biggest fear, though, is if you remember back in 08, 09, right when Jericho came back, and remember he came to the ring, it was a huge pop, and he was just like being overexcited with the crowd, and you didn't hear anything from him for like weeks, and then all of a sudden he just pops a heel turn. So that's kind of like where I'm leaning toward, is like, and I hope they don't mess this up and it goes good and they don't just like throw him as a heel. Because, I know Bray Wyatt's an established heel right now, but I think hopefully that they don't try to turn Woken to a heel right away.
Right away. So let it be a slow burn is what you're saying, right, Alex?
Right. Let him face some of the bigger heels, let him face Lesnar, let him face Wyatt, or some of the lower card heels, just so he can build his way back up. Kind of like they did with Finn, how they're kind of doing with him right now. He hasn't really been in that big of a match in a long time, and I can see how they're building him up, and I hope they do the same thing with Hardy, and it's just not going to be a complete disaster.
Well, we hope so too. Well, listen, before we let you go, because we're getting ready to move on to our next guest, and I think you'll really like this guy, Alex, because you seem to be one of those guys that really, really loves his wrestling. There's a website and a magazine called Attitude of Aggression. And David Unger is the guy that kind of runs the website, puts the magazine together, and he's going to be our guest. So we're going to be able to continue these conversations with him, which I'm pretty excited about. And one of the things that we're going to ask him about are these rumors of the possible return of the XFL before we let you go. And I don't know how old you are, Alex. I don't even know if you remember the XFL.
Oh yeah, I was like 13 when it came.
Okay,
I heard about it.
Okay, cool. So I'm curious. I'll actually go to Joe first, and then we'll close it out with you, Alex. Joe, what do you think about the possibility of seeing a return of the XFL?
Well, I remember when the XFL came out, and they tried to be compared to the NFL, and it absolutely failed. My opinion of the XFL is this.
Never drew a dime. Not a dime. Not a dime.
Plain and simple.
Joe, you are so cruel, man. You got to give them guys props for trying, though, right?
Why would you? I don't understand why you would spend your money trying to bring something back that already failed. That's like that's like when they tried to bring back Crystal Pepsi. They brought it back and worked for a while, and now it's gone all of a sudden once again. So I don't know why that they would want to spend their money bringing something back that's not going to work, especially when you already have arena football already.
Well, you know what, Joe? There's an old song, an old 90s song, R&B song by Aaliyah, God rest her soul, and it goes something like this: dust yourself off and try again, or something like that. Clearly, I'm not nearly as good a singer as Aaliyah was, but my point is this, dude. Give it a shot. You got the money. The NFL, as popular as it is in a bit of a slump this year. By all measurements, ratings are down. So my question is, why not give it a try? The NFL truly has no competition, very much like the WWE. So one would ask yourself, why not try? Because right now you've got one big dog in pro wrestling, you've got one big dog in professional football. Maybe if it's not short-lived, that's fine. But at least give the NFL a little bit of run for their money, because I'll be honest with you, the type of NFL, the type of football that we're seeing in the NFL today is nothing like the football that yours truly grew up watching. So if the XFL can give me a little bit, if it can give me a little bit of that feeling, Nightmare, then I'm cool with it. Because you know what? I would like to see somebody else besides Tom Brady win the damn Super Bowl for once.
I don't want to cut you off, but I'd be watching football games, and the wide receiver would jump up to catch the ball, and they would get plastered. I remember watching one with TJ Hughes-Mendoza. He got completely obliterated, knocked his helmet off, and he sits up, grabs his chest, and just falls back down. You don't see that anymore.
Right, and I'll be honest, man. Some of those things, Joe, are a little scary. But, I mean, we've gotten to the point now where the NFL has taken it to a point where they can't even get what a touchdown is right. I mean, Alex, I know you're a sports fan. Would you be interested? Would you, and I mean, ultimately, that's what it comes down to. Would you, as a fan of the WWE, be willing to give the XFL a chance?
I'm going to have to agree with Joe on this one because, if something failed once, I mean, it's a long shot if it's going to, revive itself and come back again. Your perfect example, look at Impact. That thing's been down, out, and all over again, and now it's just, what's the point of watching? XFL, I completely agree with you, Rene. Give us something a little bit different than what we're normally seeing from the NFL, something that's a little bit more exciting, something like old school football. But at the same time, can this thing actually, Vince never really, he knows wrestling. He doesn't know anything about football. He's counting on people who handle his money to get a franchise up and going, and it may or may not work out. But I hate to say that at the end of the day, I don't think it's a good idea. But you know what? Not my money, so I hope it works out for him.
Well, you know what? And I hate to be the guy that does this because, Alex, you've been a great caller. But you know what? I got to call you guys out on the carpet because I think your argument is nothing more than
fucking bullshit.
Thank you, Iron Sheik. You know why? Your guys' primary argument is if something failed once, it's likely to fail a second time. Allow me to educate you, gentlemen. This podcast, Evolution of a Podcast blog, available right now at WrestleTalkPodcast.com, failed multiple times. This podcast had 3 listeners in its original incarnation. Then it had 8. Then it had 12. And half of those were Joe's relatives. Okay? So if your guys' argument is because something failed before, there's a good chance it's going to fail again, I'm calling BS on that because the Wrestle Talk podcast is evidence that if you believe in it and you're willing to invest in it, something that's failed 2, 3, 4, 5 times may end up paying off. Now, take yours truly for an example. I've gone on a diet 8, 10, 12, 15, 30 times, and I failed every time. But does that mean I'm going to stop trying? No. Why? Because I believe that I can stop eating cheeseburgers and drinking beer every day of my life. Is it going to happen? Probably not. But the bottom line is if you believe in it and you're willing to invest in it, go for it. And I, as a WWE fan, will be willing to give the XFL a shot if they decide to go through with it. You know why? Simply because I believe in Vince. And the NFL these days is kind of depressing. Though I am repping my Kansas City Chiefs, who, for the second year in a row, won the AFC West. Baby! Had to rub that in a little bit of salt in some people's faces there because it's got a lot of haters. Not just a couple of haters. We got a lot of haters in the house. Well, anyway, Alex, bro, it's been a blast. It's been a great time. We're actually going to move on to our first featured guest of the evening. But my brother, don't be a stranger. And you can now consider yourself a member of the Wrestle Talk family. Thank you very much for being here tonight, man.
Thank you guys for having me. Great talking to you guys. Hope to talk to you soon.
Absolutely.
Hey, you know what, man?
I'll tell you what, Rene.
Go ahead, Joe.
I would give the XFL another shot. I will give them another shot. Maybe they'll be able to do something different than what they did before. So I will give them a shot.
Why not? Why not? You know what else, Joe? I would really like to have Alex back on. You know why, dude? That kid is cooler than a polar bear's toenail. I like that guy. We should definitely have him back on the show. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right, now, I'm looking at the clock, man. We're 32 minutes in, and I believe it is time for our first featured guest of the evening. Nightmare Jones, it's been a little while since you've done an introduction, man. Do you want to handle this one, or you want to leave it to me?
Absolutely. I can do that.
Go for it.
Let's see here. Yes, we are going to be talking with David Unger, who has been a lifelong professional wrestling fan. He's attended many memorable professional wrestling events. He's also part of the Attitude of Progression podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you Mr. David Unger. What's going on, Mr.
Guys.
Unger? Welcome to the show.
Woo!
Guys, how are you doing? Thank you so much for having me on. It is a pleasure to be here with you boys at the end of 2017 here.
Dude, Dave.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Dave, it's an honor and a pleasure to have you here. It's always actually really interesting to have a fellow media member slash podcaster on the show because you understand the struggle. Now, I don't know if you guys do any live shows, but it is a lot harder than people think, man. Trying to get the information together, trying not to sound like a jackwagon, trying to sound like you know what you're talking about. It is a huge challenge, and I know that if I wasn't already bald, I would have pulled my hair out doing this job. So I'm curious, man, what keeps you sane and what keeps you moving forward when I know that what you do can be pretty damn stressful?
Yeah, the struggle is real, guys. That is for sure, and I do not envy you guys doing with the live format. I mean, I've gone on some live shows before. This isn't the first time at the rodeo, but our show was always pre-recorded. It just, you know, for a couple of reasons, a lot of the antics that we did probably wouldn't have gone over so well on Blog Talk. You know, they're not big on rampant alcoholism like we were guilty of far too often. But you know, it does create some opportunities. But yeah, I don't know how we stay sane dealing with this. I mean, pro wrestling is an interesting outlet for longtime fans like us. It does create some creative opportunities that aren't just limited to what's going on in the ring. And you know, a lot of people that you talk to, I'm sure you guys get the same things. Like, how can you guys do a podcast about professional wrestling? And you know, the average person doesn't really get just how deep this rabbit hole can go. But yeah, I think you guys are. I really admire what you are doing with the live format because all sorts of fun, interesting things can happen when that's going on.
Yeah, man. I think we should start revising our description on social media and include technical difficulties in our description somewhere because you can definitely count on them every single show. And you know what, David, to your point, when people ask me or ask us why we do a wrestling podcast, I mean, we have a simple answer for everyone.
What? Because what? What?
That's basically all that's all we have to say when people ask us why we do a pro wrestling podcast. It's because we love it, you dummies. We love pro wrestling. We love watching it. We love being a part of it. We love covering it. And we have a passion for it. Like we were talking about, and I know you kind of heard while you were on hold, we were talking about the XFL, Dave. And you know what? If Vince McMahon wants to sell, you know, 8% of his shares to try to start back up on the XFL, who am I to tell the guy to stop? I mean, why the hell not? The NFL could definitely use the competition. I'm curious, what do you think about that whole deal?
Well, I was listening to you guys talk and the whole concept of just because something fails, it doesn't mean you shouldn't try it again. And Vince is a smart guy, one of the best businessmen in the history of history, essentially. I would be very curious to see what lessons he learned the first time out that he wouldn't repeat right now. Like you guys say, the NFL isn't exactly lighting the world on fire right now. There are lots of problems, unless you're the New England Patriots, and then everything seems to go your way. But I'm not bitter or anything like that. I'm not even a Patriots fan.
That's the truth.
But, you know, I'm curious about it to see what sort of modifications Vince is going to do if he brings back the XFL. For instance, is he going to try and compete directly against the NFL, which probably isn't the best idea. But if Vince is giving, I think what he needs to do this time is give football fans something unique and different to the product instead of trying to cater specifically to pro wrestling fans. I think last time he tried to straddle that line a little bit too much. And, you know, if you're not trying to do one thing right, then you're probably doing none of it right. And I think that was the XFL. It didn't really focus on doing any one thing very well, and it just got, it was scattered all over the place, and a lot of different issues cropped up with a lot of different people. So I'm really curious to see what he's going to do this time that would make it different, and I think it'll be much better. It's just a question of whether the public is really in the mindset to accept some sort of alternative to the NFL, and I think it really comes down to that.
Well, no doubt about it, man. And you're talking about a creative mind, a business genius in many respects, and honestly, to have the goal to even be considering to bring him back to XFL, or as has also been rumored, Vince is possibly considering buying the Carolina Panthers. I mean, you've got to think that Vince knows what he's doing, even though he's not going to hit a home run. I mean, no one bats 1,000 their whole career, right? But the fact that he's got the cojones to give it a try is pretty damn impressive to me. Now, you talk about the possibility of something like that happening, almost sounds like something out of a fantasy world. So I'll jump from that to something else a little bit out of the fantasy world, Dave, and that is fantasy booking. I know that on your website, attitudeofaggression.com, you guys do a little bit of that. You guys speculate a little bit, and I know you've done it on your podcast as well. So let me kind of put you on the spot here before I throw to Joe. Royal Rumble right around the corner. Every single year, there always seems to be some sort of surprise. So put your fantasy booking cap on, if you don't mind, Dave, and tell us, man, who do you anticipate and foresee making a debut or maybe reappearing in WWE at this year's Royal Rumble?
Wait, you mean Roman coming in at number 30 isn't a good surprise? I'm so disappointed in you guys. It's ironic. Last year, the guy who I thought was my top pick for a surprise entrant didn't show up, but I feel even more confident this year that you're going to get a Batista sighting. And I really think they want to amp up for Batista and one last run for him. There's been a lot of talk and a lot of rumors about that going down. So Batista would be number one on my list of surprise guys who would come back in. And maybe he runs with this thing to SummerSlam. I think he would be much better received this time out because you don't have the Daniel Bryan factor that was going on last time, where he came in and nobody wanted Batista. They wanted Daniel Bryan. Daniel may or may not come back, but I don't think that's going to have anything to do with Batista's run. The other guy who I would think as a surprise entrant that I'm curious about might be Goldberg. And, he's been gone since WrestleMania, but, everything I've seen indicates the guy's still staying in good shape. He could come in for a Rumble, probably not win it, of course, but just seeing him there would be a pretty cool sight. So I think Batista and Goldberg are the two guys that I'm kind of wondering about as far as a surprise. As far as more modern guys go, I'd love to say Ricochet would be the one I'd be watching for. I don't know if his contractual situation, no one knows what his contractual situation really is, but that'd be great to see Ricochet show up. In a perfect world, Kenny Omega's contract with New Japan would be done and he'd show up, but that's not happening. But that's kind of where I'm looking at right now. And Roman at number 30, of course. So.
Oh, dear goodness. Well, we're getting feedback already from our beloved members of the Wrestle Talk family, and they asked me to play this for both Goldberg and Blutista. Oh, dear goodness! It doesn't sound like either those two guys are moving the needle for anyone. But I will say this, Dave: the prospect of Ricochet, probably outside of Kenny Omega, the biggest name on the independent wrestling scene, maybe outside of Kenny Omega, and the guy that just happens to be on the show a little bit later tonight, ACH. There are a couple of guys that are recognized throughout the wrestling community that I think would get a tremendous, maybe not AJ Styles-like pop if they showed up at the Royal Rumble, but some guys that would get a decent enough pop to, quench the thirst of us wrestling fans that are always looking for the next best thing to happen. It would be very, very exciting if that were to happen. But let me do this. Joe, I know you wanted to jump in with our buddy Dave. Why don't you go ahead and do that, man?
Yes. I actually...
Calling into the Wrestle Talk podcast. This is the Night Owl. Who's this?
What's good, Night Owl? This is Chronos.
Kronos, to put you on hold, man. We're going to have you jump in and talk a little wrestling with us. Is that cool?
All right, deal with me.
Let's do it.
I think Naito and Okada should be the main event. I would be kind of surprised at this point if Omega versus Jericho didn't go on last. I just think that, it's hard because NJPW is, with this event, what I've told people is that it's very ironic. So many people have enjoyed the build to Jericho and Omega, and I'm definitely one of them. And the ironic thing about the Jericho-Omega build is that this feels to me, I don't know what you guys think, it feels to me more like an Attitude Era WWE build than anything that New Japan Pro Wrestling usually does. Most of their stuff is kind of subdued. Yeah, somebody will spit beer in somebody's face or interrupt something at a press conference, but you don't normally see guys just, sneak attacks in the ring, press conferences devolving into absolute chaos like we've seen with this build. It feels very much like they are doing a grab to try and get as much of the disenfranchised WWE fans, and God knows there's a lot of them, all the people who are, not happy about Bautista and Goldberg, and I'm with you guys. I'm not saying that's what I'm excited about. I'm just saying, hey, I'm thinking like Vince, and he says, well, these are household names. I'm going to bring them back. But at the same time, it's funny to me that New Japan Pro Wrestling, that this build feels more like WWE than it does NJPW. So while I think Naito and Okada should be the main event,
it should.
I would really be surprised if it should. Absolutely, it should. You're going to stick with tradition. That's for the title. It should be the main event. But, I don't know what you guys think, but I'd be really surprised if it's not Jericho Omega going on last. That's my thoughts on it.
Absolutely. I pretty much feel the same way. Like, it's been absolutely crazy with Omega and Jericho, with Jericho attacking Omega and then Omega attacking Jericho, and so it could definitely, it's kind of like, which one is the main event? I would hope that it would be the Okada versus Naito, with the storyline that they've been going for quite some time. Rene, what are your thoughts?
Well, you know what, man? We had this conversation, I think it was last week or the week before, and I'm still adamant that as cool as this match is, and I saw Jericho, I think he put it up on his Instagram or something, he's riding the train in Tokyo, and literally his face is plastered everywhere. On trains, billboards, sides of the bus, and all that. And I dig it and I love it, but here's the part of it that bothers me a little bit, okay? If New Japan has this incredible desire to be over, for the lack of a better word, in America, why not feature your two biggest stars that are actually homegrown stars, which is Naito and Okada? Now, listen, I know those guys won't be able to sell tickets the same way to the English-speaking demographic of the New Japan fans. I get it, but man, for the wrestling purists, the guys who love New Japan are guys that are true blue wrestling fans. You don't have any fair weather New Japan fans, and I think there's a little bit of me that kind of feels like it's cheap-ish, even though it'll be probably a pretty good match. It'll be exciting. It'll kind of live up to the billing. But I feel like they're cheating a little bit. It's like when they bring The Rock back for Mania, and he holds the belt for 2 months but never defends it, between Rumble and Mania. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting a little spoiled. Maybe I'm getting a little jaded. But there's part of me that just wants New Japan to kind of be its own thing without necessarily needing the rub that they're going to get from a WWE guy in Jericho. Though I'm sure the show's going to be tremendous. Good chance it's even better than WrestleMania. But again, there's just a part of me that would love to see it be almost a purely New Japan show with a little bit of Ring of Honor sprinkled in. I don't know. I'm excited. I don't mean to sound like, like a Bad News Betty here, but again, there's just part of me that just wants it to stay New Japan. I don't want them to become infested with any of the WWE stuff, because I think New Japan is such a special thing, and it's so new, and it's kind of like when Facebook first came out, like MySpace already existed, and you're like, wait a minute, is it Facebook just like MySpace? But there was just like this cool element to Facebook that MySpace didn't have, and we all know what happened between Facebook and MySpace. But that's, again, just one man's opinion. I am excited about it either way, but I think the main event should be the main event that currently is at the top of the card, and that's Okada and Naito.
Absolutely.
Did I answer your question, Joe?
I have one more question.
Sorry.
Yeah, I have one more. Yes, it does. I have one more question before I send it back to Rene. Do you think that the WWE is doing a good job as to everybody knows that at WrestleMania it's going to be Roman Reigns against Brock Lesnar? Do you think that that's a good idea?
Oh man, It's a loaded question. I mean, I was at WrestleMania 31, so I saw the Roman Brock match the first time. There wasn't a conclusive victory. It has always annoyed me whenever I watch WWE and Michael Cole or somebody will say Roman was on the verge of beating Brock Lesnar. It's like, dude, I was there. Roman had just got F5 for like the fourth time. He wasn't on the verge of anything.
True.
When Seth Rollins cashed in. So, on the one hand, I'm curious to see how that match ends. On the other hand, we're 3 years removed from that situation. We're at the end of Brock's contract. The odds on him re-signing for another 3 years aren't very good. The writing's on the wall that Roman's going to be the one to dethrone Brock Lesnar. Am I excited? And I've already got tickets for New Orleans, so I'll be there.
Nice.
Am I excited that that's the last match I'm going to see? Not exactly, but if you're telling me that we're also going to get Nakamura versus AJ on the same card, and maybe there's a chance that goes on last,
yes,
fine. Yeah, Roman and Brock can have their match. They can do all that they want with the Universal Championship. My thing is, like, how many coronations does Roman Reigns really need? And I'm not a Roman hater. There's a ton of people, I'm sure a lot of people on your show, who just hate the guy. And we were in Payback in San Jose when he took on Braun Strowman. And the level of hatred for Roman Reigns up there was not just like, oh, people don't like him. They literally hated this guy, wanted his head on a silver platter, were cheering that he had been destroyed by Braun Strowman and wanted him to get hurt worse. So, I don't think it's that bad anymore. Roman is Roman, and people recognize what he is. And that whole thing. But it's like, okay, look, you beat Triple H in Dallas, you retired The Undertaker, now you're going to come out, you're going to slay the Beast. How much more over can we put this guy? So to me, it's overkill. I'd like to see them swerve us a little bit and get to Brock and Roman, but maybe with a different element. Maybe you do add, John Cena to that match, or maybe it's Braun Strowman in a triple threat, or something different that they could do. But yeah, I think we're going to get Brock Roman. I don't think they're going to deviate from that. They seem to have been locked in on that for the last year. I guess I'm more curious with how do we get there? Are they going to try and make it compelling as to how we get to that match, or are they just going to ram it right down our throat? Hey, here are the two most dominant guys that there are out there. I don't know how Brock beating up on Braun and Kane is going to help further that legacy, but I'm not in charge of that stuff. But yeah, I think we're going to get Brock and Roman.
Yeah, I'm thinking the way that they're going to build up to that is, once again, Roman Reigns is going to win the Royal Rumble. Now, if you remember last time that they were in Philadelphia,
boy,
with the Royal Rumble, when Roman Reigns won, the fans booed like you would not believe, because that was back when I think it was when everybody was huge on Daniel Bryan, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Yeah, he got eliminated by Bray Wyatt or early in the match, right?
That was such a mess.
Yeah.
Such a mess. Yeah, no doubt about it, Joe. Well, Well, if you don't mind, I'm getting a little bit of information here from our intern. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, a bit of breaking news. Our interns have been hard at work digging up some old school facts and breaking news for you, the Wrestle Talk family here on the Wrestle Talk podcast with Joe and Rene. And as that turns out, today is actually the 34th anniversary of Iron Sheik defeating the then WWF champion Bob Backlund. So congratulations, Iron Sheik, on the anniversary of taking the WWF championship from Bob Backlund. Cool stuff, guys. You never know. You're going to get some fun facts here on the Wrestle Talk podcast. Well, Dave, before we move on to shoot and shot with you, there was one last thing that I wanted to ask you about, and we have touched on NJPW quite a bit here today. The video game rumors. Do you think it's a little bit too soon? A little bit too soon. Some people are speculating that they're getting ahead of themselves. A guy that covers wrestling day in or day out, if they came out with a video game, let's just say in 2018, do you think it would be a good idea or a bad idea, considering the momentum that NJPW has right now?
An NJPW video game?
Yeah.
Jeez. I would really like to look at 2K18 sale numbers and that's it. See, I think the big problem with an NJPW video game is that you can go, and I play 2K18 quite a bit, you can go into the community creations and download almost, picture-perfect examples of Kenny Omega and Okada and Naito. And maybe if those guys put it together, they would look a little bit better, arguably. But, I mean, some of these guys who create these wrestlers are better than the guys working for 2K in the first place.
Agreed.
So you get some tremendous stuff that's out there that is almost, and they've got move sets that they've got the Young Bucks Meltzer driver in this game. It's like, why is that in the game? Nobody on the WWE roster does that. Oh, okay, I get it. That's why. Stuff like that the guys at 2K aren't stupid. They know what people are doing with this stuff. So I think while it would be a cool thing to see, I don't know if there's any place for it. Not with the way that 2K is actually set up right now, where you can. Because I've got my universe mode, and it's got at least 20 NJPW guys running through there all the time. So it'd be a cool thing to see, but I don't think they would do well with the market the way it is right now. Not with the way 2K's set up.
Well, same question to you, Joe. Joe, what do you think, man?
I would definitely have to agree. I think that it would be kind of cool, but I think that with WWE 2K18, where you can download every, New Japan Pro Wrestler that you could ever think of, and not only download them, but you can also download a New Japan Pro Wrestling Arena, and, so you could literally do that already. You wouldn't really have to have another video game, and you could start your universe mode and just turn Monday Night Raw into New Japan Pro Wrestling and have New Japan Pro Wrestlers on there.
You guys make a great point. I think WWE has cornered the market on video games, though it would be kind of cool to see. I don't know if they could do a better job with it than WWE would. So I think you guys both make a fantastic point. But hey, I had to ask the question because that's kind of what people are talking about right now. And it's always interesting to hear the perspective of two guys that have been wrestling fans for such a long time. But listen, we've been polite, we've been cordial, we've had a good time thus far, Dave. But it is time to go through a bit of a therapeutic session here on the Wrestle Talk podcast with Joe and Rene. We're going to get into a segment that we call the Shoot and Shout segment. And basically you get, 30, 45 seconds to basically vent about anything that may be chapping your ass at the moment. Doesn't necessarily have to be wrestling related, but we want you to bring the passion and the fire, because there's got to be something ticking you off, just like there is always something ticking us off, whether it be some pet peeve or something that somebody said or whatever it may be. So, are you game, sir, to join us on tonight's episode or segment, the Shoot and Shout?
Oh, sure, man. I can jump into something. No problem.
Boom. All right. Intern Timmy, hit the music, baby. Let's do it.
It's just one of those days where you don't want to wake up. Everybody sucks. You don't really know why.
So I've got a question for the WWE creative team. What is the deal with Jason Jordan? Is this guy a heel? Is he a face? Is he just a bitch? I don't know. But now he is a tag team champion with Seth frickin' Rollins. This is the best idea we could have to dethrone the bar for the 25th time, is to put Jason Jordan with Seth Rollins and make this guy a tag team champion? Nepotism at its finest, kids. I'm done.
Wow. Damn, you want to talk about somebody jumping right in there, Joe? I got to give Dave props. That was pretty dope, man. Go ahead, Nightmare. What do you got, man?
Oh, my goodness. What do I have? The other day, I'm watching TV, and I come across this thing. It says, A Christmas Story Live. Now, my favorite Christmas movie is A Christmas Story. The one about the kid that wants a Red Ryder BB gun. So I turn on to this thing, and it's a freaking musical. At no point was that movie ever a musical. Why did you have to turn that into a musical? It drove me nuts. I watched 5 minutes of it, and I will never watch it again.
Dude, you know what? That's a great movie, and they shouldn't have turned it into a musical because it's depressing, okay? Let me give you my shoot and shout. It's a two-parter. Number one, cheap plastic electronics. What the hell? Man, let me tell you something. Santa decided to invest close to $200 on a pair of Stealth 700 headphones for my son. Thank you, Santa. Really appreciate you spending that much money on a pair of headphones. 2 days later, guess what? The microphone is already dangling. It looks like a damn Christmas ornament because it already came off of the little thing. It drives me nuts. No matter how much money you spend on something, whether it be a damn iPhone or earbuds or whatever, that crap is designed to break almost immediately, and it drives me crazy. And number two, guys, relatives. Oh my goodness, relatives around the holidays. I wish I could hide under my Christmas tree and come out when they go home. You know why they drive me so crazy? They're nice people. They bring food. They want to have a good time. But how dare you gift my daughter a movie that she's already seen 850 times. My daughter is 6 years old. She will watch Finding Nemo 24 hours a day, 7 days a week if I give her permission to do so. In this case, fortunately, it's not Finding Nemo. It's the movie Rango, which is a pretty good movie. But currently, since Christmas Day, we have now played that movie over 35 times in my household. Do the math, ladies and gentlemen. It is on a continual cycle of playing here in my house. I know every single line in that movie, and it drives me crazy. Why not buy her a new movie? Why not get her the Trolls movie? Why not get her an old school movie? No, you gotta get her the movie she's already seen 1,000 times. And guess who has to listen to that crap? I wake up in the morning, there's Rango. I go to bed, there's Rango. I'll take a crap, there's Rango. Oh my goodness, I want to choke somebody out. I swear, if they weren't my relatives, I would hit a bionic elbow on their ass, just like Dusty Rhodes. I'm not playing, man. That's my shooting shot for today. Jeez Louise, I think I hyperventilating over here. My goodness. Well, listen, Dave, before we let you go, brother, Attitude of Aggression, man, that is your baby. You're very proud of it. You put tons and tons of hours into it, man. Tell the members of the Wrestle Talk family, man, how they can keep tabs on you, but more importantly, attitudeofaggression.com.
Well, first off, that was an epic rant, man, and I agree with everything you said. I was going to go off on Star Wars The Last Jedi, but I was like, okay, that's probably too soon. Let's stick to pro wrestling. But thank you guys for having me on your show. I truly, truly appreciate it. It's a fantastic show. Love this thing. As far as the Attitude of Aggression, you can check us out. The website is www.attitudeofaggression.com. The whole back catalog of all the podcast episodes, I think there's 209 of them, are on there. You can check all that stuff out. You can follow us on Twitter at AttitudeAg, that is at AttitudeAGG. And you can check our Facebook page, facebook.com/Attitude of Aggression. Please hit the like button. Thank you guys very much.
Grace and peace, my brother. Much love to you, Dave Unger. Don't be a stranger, and you can now officially consider yourself a member of the Wrestle Talk family, man.
Thank you guys so much, and maybe get you guys on my show in the near future.
Woo! We're down for that. Joe.
Absolutely.
Dude, what do you think about Dave Unger, dude? Man, I wish we'd had more time with him, dude. Such a knowledgeable and fun guy to talk to.
Right? He was awesome. We're definitely going to have to get him back on. Absolutely. So, I tell you what, why don't we go ahead and go to break for like 2 minutes, and then we'll come back, and when we come back, we'll get into the Fantasy Wrestling Worldwide Chapter segment, and then Big Daddy P, Snippets of Truth, and then it's time to get super with ACH.
Let's do it, baby.
We'll see you back in about 2 minutes.
Adios.
Hey, wrestling fans, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat talking at you, and you're listening to the Wrestle Talk Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We are back. It is now time for one of my favorite segments, the Fantasy Wrestling Worldwide Chapter on the Wrestle Talk Podcast. Are we ready to do this night now?
You know what, Nightmare Jones? I'm absolutely ready to roll. I'm also excited, man, because in less than 25 minutes, Attitude, Charisma, Heart, ACH is in the house. We got Big Daddy P coming in with his snippets of truth like he does every single week. But like you said, man, time for some fantasy wrestling. Dial that number, guys, 657-383-1521. It's about to get crazy in here, Nightmare, because the FWWC is by far the world's greatest fantasy wrestling group. And these people, they call in and they always got something on their mind and they always got passion, they always got heart. So let's go ahead and take it away, Nightmare Jones. I believe we got a couple of people on hold, right?
We do. Let's go and bring in the first guy. This gentleman has been on this show multiple times. He's a regular caller. Kronos, the Titan of Time. What is going on, my friend?
Good evening, Joe and Rene. I should say Nightmare and Night Owl. I appreciate you all having me on tonight. I kind of wanted to join in for the last segment, which was Student Shout. Do you think I can go ahead and do mine?
Kronos, this is the FWWC segment, man. Go ahead, bro.
All right. I say my shooting shout goes to any individual that thinks it's okay to try to intrude to someone else's house. You are the scum. You're worse than a murderer. You're worse than a pedophile to me because you try to take what someone else has or earned or was given to them, and that's just horrible. Now, I had to get that off my chest.
Hey, it's all good, man. It's all good. That's what we're here for, bro. This is the Wrestle Talk family, man. If you need to come on here and vent a little bit, you know that's A-okay with us, bro.
Right.
This is the Night Owl. You've called the Wrestle Talk Podcast. Who's this?
This is Douglas James.
DJ, stay on hold, buddy. We'll get you right on.
Gotcha.
This is the Night Owl. You've called the Wrestle Talk Podcast. Who am I speaking with? Hello, who's this?
Hello?
Yes, you've called the Wrestle Talk Podcast. Who am I speaking with?
Mile in air, or is this... No.
No, you're being screened. Who am I speaking with?
Oh, it's Caleb.
Gotcha.
No, it's first time.
No problem, bud. Hang tight.
All right.
All the way to the end of 2017 to release on January 1st, 2018.
Boom. You know what, Joe? Let me jump in here real quick. Kronos, obviously 2018 could be a big year for you. I mean, you had a ton of success in 2017, especially the first half of the year. But there's a lot of newcomers in the FWWC. As a veteran, as a former Triple Crown champ, if you had to give one word of advice to some of those newcomers, man, what would it be?
One word of advice for anyone that came in. I appreciate this is what this guy does. He does his research. He looks at what we've done in the past. He goes to the Wrestle Talk Podcast YouTube channel. He goes through the history and the timeline, and he sees what we have done previously. Now, as a newcomer, I want you to look at what we've done previously, put your spin on it, put your flair on it, make it your own, because this really isn't up to us old, we've been here, legends, all of us that's done this. It's not up to us to keep it running. It's up to the newcomer. Also, while you've been a newcomer, bring another newcomer. Can I get a stand on that? Because we can't get enough competitors in the FWWC.
Oh, it sounds like the Wrestle Talk family agrees with you. Bring a friend. Well, unfortunately, Kronos, we've run out of time because we've got a couple other callers to get to, man. But all the best to you, sir, going into Royal Rumble. You had a huge Royal Rumble last year, and as far as I'm concerned, you're going to have another big one in 2018, man. You take care of yourself, sir.
Thank you. Much success. Love the show. Keep it up.
You got it. Keep it hot. Kronos, the Titan of Time, ladies and gentlemen. Nightmare, now, when you're talking about newcomers, you can't talk about newcomers without talking a man whose only addiction is competition. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Making his first appearance in character here in the FWWC segment, none other than Douglas James.
Wrestle Talk Podcast. What's going on, guys?
Douglas James, how you doing tonight, man?
How are you today?
I'm in quite a bit of pain. These guys have been putting me through the ringer lately.
Well, let me ask you about that, Douglas James. There's been a lot of infighting in the locker room between some of the new guys and how some of them have decided to attack, how some of them have decided to blindside, how some of them have decided to bring inanimate objects to matches that are not no DQ matches. So you've been here, but you're still considered a new guy. How do you feel about some of these actions that some of these new guys are taking to try to make their name here in the FWWC?
I'm proud of these new guys for trying to make a name for themselves, for trying to make an impact. I do think that there are better ways to do that. And one of the ways that I come in and try to make an impact is with the fans, is with the people watching, because I know if they're on my side and they're cheering for me and cheering me on from the stands, then that just feeds my addiction for competition. That just gives me so much more strength and encouragement. And so I use that energy in the ring. So maybe if these guys worked a little bit more on being nicer to people and making friends with the audience instead of using weapons and using whatever low tactics that they might want to use, maybe they'd be better off not doing that.
Well, you know what? That is a great point. And when we talk about some of your fellow new guys, DJ, we can't help but talk about a man that you and him have already crossed paths more than one, and he just so happens to be on hold right now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Wrestle Talk Podcast. Also, for the very first time, a man only known as Jack Hazard.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Hazard. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind tonight?
Not much. Enjoying my victories for this past week and enjoying the fact that I can relish in this moment and rubbing it in Corbin Slater's face.
Now,
you haven't been doing quite.
Go ahead, Joe.
Quite a big. You have been on quite a roll recently. You are a free agent. You weren't drafted to Monday Night Raw, to the red brand or the blue brand. Is this kind of like a slap to your face? And are you teaching these general managers a lesson as to they should have picked you but they didn't?
I'm teaching a lesson to Corbin Slater, not Arden Murphy. I have nothing against Arden Murphy. Arden Murphy had no opportunity yet to pick me up. Corbin Slater could have drafted me first overall, and he didn't do such.
Ooh.
Wow. Well, let me ask you this, Jack. Douglas James is also on the line. It seems to me like you've got more problems than just with Corbin Slater. You and Douglas James have kind of been getting after each other a little bit. So, Douglas, if you don't mind jumping back in here, what is the beef between you and Jack Hazard?
Well, the beef is this, Night Owl. The beef is that Jack Hazard, all he can do is attack me from behind. We met face-to-face in the ring, and he used weapons. He used different things like that to get the advantage. But if he would just be a competitor and actually man up, he's twice, maybe even 3 times my size. He has that to his advantage. He has all of these advantages. You know, he's mysterious. You know, no one knows a whole lot about him. But let me just tell you this, Jack Hazard, there's a reason why I got drafted to a brand and you didn't. And that's because I have the heart, I have the intensity, and I have the encouragement from the fans, and I play off of that, and I focus that energy in the ring. I'm a competitor, which is something you are not, and that's why I got drafted and you didn't.
Wow.
You see?
Oh, hold on. Just a minute before you respond, Jack Hazard. Let's see what Joey thinks about that last comment by Douglas James.
Oh my God!
Going for the jugular. Jack, your opportunity to respond to that.
Well, he might be a competitor. He might have the fans behind him, but that didn't help him pick up a win on Monday.
Damn. Wow.
Got him! Got him!
Any final thoughts, Mr. Hazard?
I'm pretty certain I'm going to cross paths with Douglas James again. If he doesn't want me to use weapons, that's fine. I'll just beat him with my bare hands. Now, he might be saying that I used weapons against him, and that's how I got the advantage. But if I remember clearly, he was using weapons as well. And they didn't help him at all.
Wow. You know what? As we always say in the FWWC, all is fair in love and wrestling. Well, we do have one more caller that we got to get through the night. Shout out to Kronos, Douglas James, and Jack Hazard. But it is now time to bring in another legend, just like Kronos. And that is a man who's a multi-time UXT champion, a multi-time IC and US champ. Also had some success in the tag team division. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking about none other than El Luchador de Kansas City.
Hey, everybody. How's it going tonight?
Buenas noches, Luchador. How are you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. You know, had a great Christmas weekend. You know, had a great match with Allison Shea Atkins on Monday Night Raw. It didn't go my way, but hey, it was a crowd pleaser, and everybody was talking about that match.
Dude, everyone was talking about that match. Luchador, you recently suffered one of your most devastating losses against the Untouchables, where you and the Battle Cat were permanently broken up. No more Jokers Wild, no more Misfits. My question to you is this: are you now solely focused on your singles career? And if you are, what do you have your eyes set on?
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely more focused on my singles career at this point. because obviously I go one-on-one with Kronos the Time to Time this Monday night, New Year's Day, and he thinks he's going to have a bloody massacre and everything. Well, I'll bring the party favors and we'll have a ball, because it's going to be a fun time. I'll tell you that, because one thing for sure, I have beaten him before at Fastlane last year for the FAC Championship, and I'm willing to go through him and everybody else to get my title shot at the Royal Rumble.
Well, one thing's for sure, a luchador always means what he says and says what he means. Nightmare Jones, I know you and a luchador have some history of your own. Any thoughts on your behalf towards a luchador or anybody else that's called in during the FWWC segment tonight?
I mean, I just wish the best for El Luchador. I know that he's been on kind of a losing streak, and I know that he's one of these types of guys where he will bounce back better than everybody else. And I know for a fact that eventually, he's going to have a singles title again. I mean, he's been the tag team champions. He's been the heavyweight champion. So it'll happen again. And to Kronos, the best of luck to you as well. And then Jack Hazard, the best of luck to you as well. You haven't faced each other yet, and you better hope that doesn't happen, because when you go up against Nightmare Jones, you lose. Plain and simple.
And your chance to respond, Luchador, before we let you get out of here tonight.
Well, my final word is this. Kronos, the time is time. I know you're listening right now. May the best superstar win, and bring your A game. And also, I want to point out.
Oh, hey, go ahead. What did you want to point out, Luchador? We lost you there for a second. Go ahead.
Oh, am I still on?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
What was the last thing you wanted to point out, man? We lost you there for a second.
All right. There's a personal note. I know it's freezing cold outside right now, and if you have loved ones that are in need of a place to be warm, let them in your house, and stay warm in this cold weather all this week, everybody.
You got it. Luchador de Kansas City. Man, you know what? I love everybody that called in today, and man, these phone lines are still absolutely off the chain. I think we just had another one pop up, Nightmare, if you want to check on that. But let me share something with you guys. 2017 was a tremendous year for the FWWC. We saw exponential growth. You're talking about something that we basically started from scratch when DeJuan Mills started this group a little bit over 5 years ago. There was just a handful of people, and in the beginning there were no championship belts. It was just a bunch of folks that love talking wrestling that would get together from time to time to watch pay-per-views at the same time. And the fact of the matter is this, guys, not everybody has the ability or the fortune or not everyone is blessed enough to be able to actually live out their dream and be a professional wrestler. So what the FWWC does, it gives those people an opportunity to kind of sort of live out their dream of being professional wrestlers. No, they don't actually ever really get into the ring and wrestle. It's all fantasy. It's all role play. But you know what? It gives them even just a little bit of that feeling of how it feels to be an ACH or an AJ Styles or a Kenny Omega or you name it. Whoever it may be that you're a fan of, that's what the FWWC does. And yeah, we get made fun of. We dress up in character when we go to wrestling shows. But you know what? We love it, and we refuse to be chastised for it, because professional wrestling is our passion, and we enjoy it, and we will not be embarrassed. Especially now, Nightmare, that wrestling is now kind of like the it thing. I I mean, you got people from outside of wrestling that want to be a part of it. Jon Stewart wants to be on, in WrestleMania. Ronda Rousey wants to be in WrestleMania. I mean, everybody wants to be a part of it, dude. Wrestling is the it thing. I feel like we're going through another renaissance. And so whether you're an actual true blue professional wrestler or you do it here in the FWWC with us in the fantasy group, the bottom line is this, man. Do what you love. And, everybody out there is entitled to their opinion, but it's up to you if you choose to listen to the opinions of people that don't have any positive feedback or any true positive feelings towards you. So just make sure you're careful who you listen to, guys. Sometimes it's not worth it. You get what I'm saying? Now, that said, Nightmare, thank you guys. Like the shirt, man. Old school, man. It's Steve Austin shirt. But anyway, we're just a few moments away from having ACH on the show. I did want to share one last bit of news, Nightmare, and I know you're anxious to hear this. Bro, Corbin Slater dropped the news. Looks like Massacre is not only going to be fighting Julius Cairo next week, he's also going to be competing against Danny Lane, and then he's going to have a winning your in match with Marcus Mayhem for the Legends Championship. I know that's a belt that you were always interested in. Just real briefly, with the few seconds we have left in this segment, man, what are your thoughts, man? If Marcus Mayhem is able to line up across the ring from Massacre, how do you think he'll fare? Because he's not been doing too well lately.
I think that Marcus Mayhem, if he gets the opportunity, you don't want to sleep on Marcus Mayhem. Marcus Mayhem is one of my life familiar brothers. He's one of my former tag teams. And this dude, you don't want to sleep on him. So I really hope that Massacre doesn't take this lightly, because I can guarantee you that Marcus Mayhem is going to give him the fight. And he very well may end up losing that title to Marcus Mayhem. You never know.
No doubt about it, Joe. And I will say this, man. It's just so much fun to see people competing in all facets, man, especially when it comes to pro wrestling. As we get closer and closer to our featured guest of the evening, Attitude, Charisma, Heart. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. ACH will be here in just a moment. I also wanted to share something on behalf of Big Daddy P, who could not make it today for the show. As you guys know, we do something a little bit different here on Wrestle Talk than pretty much any other show that you'll hear. We kind of do like a 2 or 3 minute little prayer segment, okay? And not everybody believes what I believe. Not everybody believes what Joe believes, but that's the beauty of this wonderful country we live in. You can kind of share your beliefs and don't necessarily have to be apologetic for it. So allow me to say this. Luchador hit it right on the head, man. There are a lot of people. There are a lot of people who are a lot less fortunate than we are during this holiday season, Joe. And not only people, but also pets, man. As you heard me mention, we've got a show coming up here in Kansas City on January 13th. It's a Kansas City Extreme Wrestling's Wrestling for Pets. Man, I'm sitting here at my house, bro, and I've seen a couple of cats walk by outside. I don't know if they're homeless cats. I don't know if, the neighbors just let them out so they could use a restroom, whatever it may be. But I know that there are a lot of pets out there, man, that are suffering. They're out on the street. They don't have anything to eat. They don't have any shelter. And there are places that take these animals in and try to take care of them all year round, not during this time of the year, but this time of the year in particular, man. It's got to be really, really tough. So, if you can do something simple like put out a cardboard box with a couple of old towels in so that like a little cat or dog could snuggle in there. If you can't necessarily let them in your house, or put out a bowl of water or a little bit of food or whatever, man, do it. Do it, because you know what? Animals are very important because they provide this companionship, and it's actually kind of cool because the symbiotic health, behavioral health that we partner with at KCXW, dude, they actually partner up like war veterans and abandoned pets, and they kind of bring them together, dude. And like it helps provide these soldiers with companionship as they try to rehab, particularly guys that are dealing with PTSD. So kind of a cool thing, man. So prayers, big time prayers to the man above for all those poor pets and animals that are suffering during this time of year, because it's pretty tough, Joe. And I don't know. I never asked you this, Joe. Are you a cat? Are you a dog guy? Do you have a cat or a dog?
I have 4 cats and 1 dog. All my animals have been cats that we have rescued from the animal shelters. One of the cats we have kind of just started showing up, and we started feeding him, and next thing you know, he wouldn't leave us, so we adopted that cat. And another cat I have that was my first cat. Another cat I have was another cat that we rescued, that we found when he was a kitten, just laying on the side of the road. We nursed him back to health, and he's been with us since then. And so all of my animals come from animal shelters.
Dude, that's awesome. And you know what, man? I'm looking at and by the way, the Facebook live feed is on fire right now. Shout out to my boy Sam, who basically just posted. He said, I adopted a dog last week, and it helped my PTSD tremendously. Dude, that's what I'm talking about, baby. You link a pet and a vet together, man, and wonderful things happen. So prayers up to anybody who ever opened up their home or did anything nice for a pet in need. We're going to try to do that again on the 13th at KCXW in Kansas City. Wrestling for Pets. All the money we collect from this show, bro, you know I'm doing the commentary and the ring announcing, will all go to Wrestling for Pets, which is a tremendous, tremendous organization. But with that said, Nightmare Jones, I'm getting all sentimental over here, son. I am getting all sentimental because of the pets, but I'm also getting all sentimental because you already know, and this, I'm not just saying it to say it, because you know I don't blow smoke, player, but my favorite wrestler in the whole world, and that doesn't mean I know every single thing about this guy. I'm not no weird stalker or nothing, but I am a huge fan of this man because one of my very first wrestling shows ever, I got to see him in action at Metro Pro Wrestling, and we all know Metro Pro is no more. It is now NWL. But at my very second ever Metro Pro Wrestling show, which was really my second independent show ever, ACH was the guy. I was like, man, that guy, he's got attitude, he's got charisma, he's got heart. And it just so happened that his name happened to be ACH, and he's on hold, and we're bringing him on, baby. So without further ado, I know we got a little bit of music we got to drop as this man makes his way in. Ladies and gentlemen, it would take me forever to tell you where this man works, but New Japan, Ring of Honor, I mean, I can just go on and on and on, is going to join us on the show right after this song hits. Ladies and gentlemen, ACH.
Play the Cadence in the building. Alright, already the show goes on all night. All morning we dream so long, waiting by the every winter when they would see the thunder. Remember when summer. Already the show goes.
Welcome to the show, ACH. How's it going, my son?
Pretty good. Absolutely wonderful weather here we're having in Texas. It is like 30, 28, 20 degrees right now. It is fantastic.
Dude, that is fantastic. Joe, I know the weather in West Virginia isn't quite as nice, nor is it that nice in Kansas City, right?
No. I am super excited about this interview with ACH. I'm super excited. My ACH shirt is on its way, so I'm excited about that as well. It's going to be a great interview.
Well, you know what, man? I'm going to be honest.
Thank you. It's definitely going to be one.
No doubt. I'm having a hard time putting into words how excited I am. I think we have a drop that kind of can explain a little bit better about how I'm feeling right now.
All right.
That's right.
Is that a haracha?
No.
That's I believe it's called a haracha?
Yeah, it's the Mexican yell, bro. You live in Texas. You know what's up.
Yeah, I believe it's called a haracha. I believe that's what it's called.
Yeah, dude.
Don't quote me, though.
Hey, no worries. No worries. Well, listen, ACH, man, let's get off on the right foot here, man. Obviously, you're a real busy guy. You're traveling around. You're a fun-loving dude who gets to live out the dream of many of us, and that is not only to be a professional wrestler, but to be an extremely successful professional wrestler. But hey, everybody has to start somewhere, right? And from what I understand, when you were coming up, you got to come up with some guys that are actually very close friends of ours here on the Wrestle Talk podcast. And I'm talking about David Vega and Matt Fitchett, man. Cobra Kai, besties in the world, whatever you want to call them, man. Those guys played an instrumental part in your initial development. So I'm curious, sir. Talk to us a little bit about your relationship with both Davey and Matt.
I want to say I met them 2010. So they were driving down from St. Louis to Texas, and we met at ACW. I first met Vega in August. It's actually our friend anniversary is August. Like August.
Friend anniversary? That's so romantic.
And then I think a couple of months later, Fitchett got introduced to the carload, and then he started making the trip down. And when I had moved to St. Louis a couple of years later, I used to travel with the Submission Squad, Pierre Appaneri, Evangelistico, Gary J, the whole crew. I used to work for St. Louis Anarchy. They did so much to help me, and we all just grew a bond. And then later on, Matthew, some people know him as now, the NWO, who was formerly known as Pierre Appaneri.
Right.
He started taking more of a bigger role in the St. Louis Anarchy, so he focused more on just promoting the show and booking the show. So the carload kind of split apart as far as like who would go where and who would go this way. So like Evangelistico and Gary and Matthew started to go their own way, and then me, Vega, and Fitchett started to go our own way. And we all still would link up every once in a while and like ride with each other eventually. But sometimes it just didn't happen. But me, Fitchett, and Vega always would ride with each other the most, so we would end up like in Cleveland together, and Canada, Chicago, and just a lot of places. So, of course, when you're in wrestling and you're in car rides with people for so long, a 6-hour car ride for like what? If you do that like 4 trips, if you do 4 trips and 6-hour car rides out of the month, that feels like an eternity. Like you really get to bond with people. So I think that actually helped us get closer. And then not only that, I spent a lot of time with Vega outside of car trips. I used to always go to him and like hang out with him at his house and stuff like that. So we grew closer that way. And I mean, we definitely spent a lot of time with each other, helping each other grow as performers and just teaching each other how to become better wrestlers, if you will. And I mean, I owe a lot to not just those two, but just the whole Submission Squad in general, because if it wasn't for Pierre telling me, hey, I think you should move, I mean, I don't think I would have ever got the courage to actually pack up everything and just up and leave and move to St. Louis just on pure, just pure instinct and just pure guts. So, I definitely owe him a lot for putting that seed in my head. I think you should move. And I was like, nah, I'd never leave Texas. And then I left.
Yeah, and and the rest is history for sure. And you know what? Unfortunately, ACH, we no longer get we no longer get Pierre Abernathy here in the Midwest. We are stuck with a gentleman by the name of Matt Jackson here in the NWL. And I hate to say it, but here's the truth about Matt Jackson.
Never drew a dime. Not a dime.
Never true. Never. No. All kidding aside.
Yeah. He's a good friend. I can't have you just burying my friend while I'm on the interview. Like, I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you that the God's honest truth. Matt Jackson came on here when him and Major Basin were beefing about who was going to take control of the NWL, and he was, for the most part, cordial and polite, but he didn't pull no punches. And I'll tell you what, man, the dude is ruthless, he is brutal, and he is a heartless businessman. And it has worked out for him here in the NWL because
my friend.
Hey, he is your friend. But from a business perspective, I wouldn't want to cross this guy because you know what? He takes no prisoners. No prisoners. Similar to you in the ring, sir.
I
I think that in order to, I wouldn't say he's ruthless, and I wouldn't say, I honestly, I wouldn't say any of those things. I just think he's an ambitious person. He knows what he wants out of his product. He knows what he wants out of life in general, and he'll stop at anything to get it. And I think you have to give credit where credit is due, because Pierre has put a lot of trust and faith on a lot of guys that a lot of people do enjoy, and he don't talk about it. He doesn't promote about it. You know what I mean? He doesn't latch on to guys after he's helped them and like try to like build a name off of these guys. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of guys that have trainees and trainers, or you have trainers that have a lot of trainees that when their guys start to blow up, they, you know, oh, that's my guy. They like to take credibility of their success. And Pierre has literally done a lot for a lot of people, and I'm not going to name a lot of those people because I don't think it's my job or I don't have that right to do that, but he's helped a lot of people, and I don't think he's ruthless. I just think he's a good businessman. He knows what he wants, and he's done a lot for the Midwest. He's done a lot for me, especially, and he's also helping out one of my younger guys. So, I mean, I can't, you know what I mean? I sent my younger guy to him because I know the type of guy that Matt Jackson is. And I know that he has a good mentality to help someone come up in wrestling. So I sent my guy to him. He's boogieing in NWL right now. And I think that Cody's going to get the most out of that experience in that relationship. So, I think Pierre is definitely, in my opinion, in my list, I think he's top 3, top 5 guys, like best minds in wrestling. He doesn't have the credentials of like a Delirious or any other high-profile booker. But I think what he has done and what he had to work with, he made the best out of it. And I think that's what makes a good booker and a good promoter, is when you can take someone that no one knows and then you can put them in the middle of the ring and you can make the people care about them. I mean, a lot of it is up to the performers, but I feel like he gets guys to a certain point and then he leaves it up to them. And then when they start doing what they need to do, you know what I mean? His mind starts working. I lived with him for 3 years, so I saw his process. I saw his growth. I saw what he went through. And like, it was a full-time job. The dude would wake up, crack up his laptop, and he'd be sitting there. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's just like, putting the show together. And the show would be like 2 months out, and he's just putting the show together. It blew my mind. So he works really hard, man. So I'm happy for all the success he has with NWO and everything. I think he truly deserves it all. He does. So I don't think he's ruthless. I just think he's a very determined person. He'll stop at nothing to get what he needs to get, or to see his dream or his vision come true. So shout out to him.
You know what? And here's where I got to give it to you and give him his credit. Okay, now that we're talking about this, so the STL branch of the NWL didn't stick around, I think, as long as everybody expected that it would. But instead of just folding tent and going, it didn't work, he reinvented it. Now, in the reinvention, I think he went maybe a little bit too far as the way he handles stuff on camera. He's been, the only word I can think of is ruthless, but it's worked out in his favor, ACH. But it's only because I think he kind of brought back the St. Louis Anarchy feeling to what they were doing over there at NWO, and it's been good. But I do feel bad for anybody who crosses his path, because they've been laying guys out left and right. And the Submission Squad is known for that, whether it be at Metro, whether it be at St. Louis Anarchy. But I'm curious, if for whatever reason, and I've seen you in the ring, man, you're a pretty hard-hitting guy, but there's also a softer, more entertaining and lighthearted side of ACH. So I guess for selfish reasons, I'm kind of happy that part of it didn't rub off on you, man, because you tend to make a lot of people smile with what you do in the ring, man. I mean, you want to talk about rock solid talent and entertainment. That's you personified, sir.
Thank you. I mean, I feel like in life you have to have, it's all about yin and yang. You have to have balance. And I mean, I'm a very nice, easygoing guy. I like to promote positivity and, just having a good time. That's all. And above all, everything else, I like to promote, self-expression, be yourself. I think that's the most important thing to any performer in professional wrestling nowadays, because I feel like when you're authentic, when you're just you, not even you cranked up to 10, I think when you're just you,
I think that people can sense it, and it brings the audience closer to you. You grow a deeper connection with the audience because they feel like they actually know you and not the character. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if I ever, like, Shelton Benjamin to me was always just Shelton Benjamin. He wasn't a gimmick. So it was pretty cool to meet him for the first time, and it actually felt like I was meeting Shelton Benjamin and not a character.
That's dope.
And that spoke volumes with me. Yeah, and that spoke volumes with me, the way that I carry myself. So it's just like, you know, if you met wrestler A who has a ring name, I guess you would, right?
Right.
And if I ever met him, I feel like I'd be meeting the character and not the actual wrestler. And I've come across that sometimes. And that's fine. I mean, that's cool. That's whatever. But for what I want for my brand, I want my brand to be authentic. I want my brand to be me. You know what I mean? I want it to be a representation of who I am. And I also don't want to have to put on this, like, role for fans if they ever come across me outside of the ring. I want them to see the same guy in the ring that they see outside the ring. You know what I mean? Like, I don't ever want to have to, like, try to be someone else that I'm not. I just want to be me. That's all I ever wanted to do in wrestling and life, is just be me. That's all I've ever wanted to do. So, shout out to guys like Gabe Sapolsky who allowed that to happen, Darren Childs, and again, Matt Jackson. So, those guys allowed me to be who I am, and I think those are the companies I truly had a lot of success in. NRG, St. Louis NRG, Evolve. Like, if it wasn't for Gabe, like this past year or this year working with Gabe, he legit just took the handcuffs and just allowed me to be myself. And then the Troll Boys were born, and me and Ethan Page were just having fun. We were just,
that was dope.
We were just being us, and the people loved it. So I couldn't. I mean, I had a great time doing that. I mean, that was so much fun,
bro. Let me jump
every day.
Let me jump in if I may, because you hit on something I was going to ask you before I throw to Joe. I mean, I was a fan of yours since Metro, and I got to see you twice at Metro. But what really put it over the top for me, ACH, was seeing some of those like Evolve character short films that you did with WWN. And it's funny that you say that, because I feel like that's when I felt like I connected with you from a fan to a worker perspective. I was like, I saw that and I was like, this isn't ACH. This is like Albert. You know what I mean? Like, you were being you, but you were still being the wrestler. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was amazing, because in the era we live out today, like, it's hard to buy into a character full-fledged because of how much information's available. But what Evolve allowed you to do, man, was to just be you. And I think that was probably the best thing that could have ever happened from my perspective. And now to hear you say it, I think it's pretty incredible.
Dude, it was so much fun. Like, I remember the camera guy, you know, the promo guy. He would go, so, like, what do you guys want to do? And I would literally just go, just turn on the camera. And sometimes I wouldn't even tell him that. Me and Paige, we just started talking. Joking, and the camera was rolling. And we just kind of, like, once we realized the camera was rolling, we didn't even stop. We just kept going. It was just like, whatever, we don't care. We were just being ourselves. And I've always been that way, but Evolve helped me show a different side that a lot of people don't know about. Because some people tried to paint me as this, like, bubblegum, like, clean cut, like, super baby face. And not to get it twisted, I am that guy. I'm very bubbly. I'm always happy. I'm always smiling. But I always like to credit myself as a pet bull. Eventually, you're going to keep poking at me, and I'm going to snap.
All they got to do is watch an ACH match, bro. Come on now. Anybody who thinks that has never seen one of your matches, player. Dude, you get pretty nasty in there.
I mean, I try my best.
All right, Joe.
I honestly try my best.
No doubt. Joe, man, I know you're anxious, man, and I'm trying not to be selfish, man. Why don't you jump on in here? Because I know you got a couple of questions for ACH yourself, my friend.
Absolutely. It is an honor to have you on, sir. One of the things I wanted to talk about was your time in a promotion that I've recently become more familiar with, and that is Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. You entered the 2013 Battle for Los Angeles. What was it like to wrestle in that event?
For me, it was awesome because I felt like at that point in my career, I did every independent tournament known to man. I did Best of the Best. I did the what was it that I did? I did the Young Lions Cup for Shakara. I mean, I did so many. I did so many tournaments, and I felt like that was the one that I needed to do to really put my staple in professional wrestling on the independent scene. So being a part of that was awesome. We had Regal in the back that was watching. A lot of people obviously knew about that because the picture of me and Kyle O'Reilly came out. I mean, that was awesome. Such a good experience, man. Me versus Tony Nese. And then I got to wrestle Kyle O'Reilly in one of my best matches that year. Oh man, that experience was awesome, man. It's one of those things I'll always hold on to dearly. I don't take a lot of pictures because I like to keep things.
You're on Wrestle Talk Podcast with Jordan A. Who am I speaking with so I can put you on hold?
You're talking to the franchise, baby.
Man, you want to jump on with ACH?
Yeah, why not?
All right, cool. I got two ahead of you, man. We'll do our best to get to you, okay?
All right, sounds good, man.
Boys with Ethan Page. How did that tag team come about?
Funny story. So after the Atlanta, me and Paige had talked about tagging for Evolve, and Gabe just didn't see it. He was just like, I don't know. He's like, I just don't see it because we had the match in Atlanta, and I remember we were like, we're going to make a mockery of professional wrestling. We're going to do a parody match of everything that everyone does in professional wrestling that we dislike. And it surprisingly got over, which was, I remember backstage, thinking to myself, oh man, it'd be so great, if we're doing this and the crowd chants this. And I'll never get laying on the mat and they were chanting, fight forever. And I was like, wait, what? No, that's not supposed to happen. You're supposed to hate this. So we come back after the match and I'm like, we're like, Gabe, you have to tag us. And he's like, no. We're like, Gabe, no, you have to. It's like the best thing to do. He's like, no. And I was like, come on. So we're pressuring him for at least 15 minutes. We're like, you have to do it. And even the boys in the back are like, yeah, I think you have to. And I think he took a shot on us, and we made the best out of it. And obviously, it became one of the best things in this year. It was great. We took something so small and we made it so big. And that, to me, that legit put a lot in me. It put a lot of confidence in me that someone took a shot on me and I was able to, shoot my shot, and I made it. So it was great. That was an awesome experience. I love the Troll Boys. I'll never forget that.
Absolutely. My last question before we bring on a couple callers is, in Ring of Honor, you wrestled some of the big names in Ring of Honor, like Jay Briscoe, and you wrestled Adam Cole and Jay Lethal. Can you tell us about your time in Ring of Honor?
My time in Ring of Honor was it was bittersweet. I really enjoyed my time in Ring of Honor. They gave me a platform bigger than a lot of promotions, and I was able to do what I do full time because of Ring of Honor. And of course, there are the bitter things about Ring of Honor, just a lot of the sharks that I have to swim with. And I'm not going to say anybody by name, but there was just a lot of guys that I didn't gel with. And I felt like at times that they were trying to hinder who I was as a person. And not as a character, but just as a person. And I feel like if you truly want to get to know somebody, you have to allow them to be themselves, and then you'll understand why they are the way that they are. Like, if you never have a one-on-one conversation, like a heart-to-heart conversation, and get to figure out someone or understand who they are as a person, then you'll never understand why they do what they do. So, for instance, like you said, oh, Pierre is ruthless, and I would never want to cross this guy. But I lived with him for 3.5 years. And so I know why he does what he does, because I lived with him. I had heart-to-heart conversations with him. I feel like few, maybe not even few, very little guys had those conversations with me that understood who I was as a person, and they knew, you know what I mean? Like, they knew that anything that I was doing wasn't out of ill will, wasn't out of, like, militia or anything like that. Like, they knew that I was just being me. And I rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. At times, I could be immature, and at times, I could be a little too much, and I understand that. But at the same time, that doesn't give anybody the right to treat somebody the way that I was treated. So, but above all things, I'm very grateful for the opportunity that Ring of Honor gave me. I love everything that they, handed me. And without them, I wouldn't be able to have a lot of what I have now. So, nothing but the best for Ring of Honor. You know what I mean? I'm even open to going back now. So, I'm over whatever it was that I had to deal with. I proved a lot of things to myself this year that I wanted to prove, and I mean, overall, I'm just happy. I was depressed. Towards the end there, I was depressed. I had no motivation. I was not even excited to go to work. I didn't even want to work out because I felt like I was doing absolutely nothing for myself. Like, I just didn't like it. I wasn't happy. I didn't feel like I had creative control over anything, even though you really do, but I just never felt like I did. I just wasn't happy. You know what I mean? And I just wanted to get away to see if I could do things on my own. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to prove something to myself. I had nothing to prove to anyone else. I wanted to prove to myself. And this year, I proved a lot to myself. You know what I mean? So, nothing but the best for Ring of Honor.
No doubt. Well, let me jump in here, Joe. Let me jump in here, Joe, because we do want to get at least one caller on. But let me say this, ACH. And I think we're looking at it from two different sides of the coin. If you see what Matt Jackson is doing in NWL, you would agree with me. He's ruthless, man. Ruthless. Ruthless, man, I tell you. All kidding aside.
Nah, man.
I know that's your boy, but listen, that's his gig right now, man. And he's doing a damn good job because Kansas City hates his guts. And I think he actually kind of enjoys it a little bit. It's kind of funny. It is kind of funny because I ran into him after a St. Joe show, and I was like, hey, man, good job. And he's like, he just kind of gave me the thumbs up, more or less like, hey, I can't be nice to you, bro, but like, yeah, I got you. Love it. All right, real quick, Drew Chandler. Drew Chandler's been on hold for a little bit, man. Keep it respectful and make it quick. You are live with New Japan Wrestling's very own ACH.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, Drew?
Like you said, my name's Drew. I'm calling from Topeka, Kansas. And first, let me get off my chest. ACH, it's an honor to get to talk to you just for a minute and ask you a question. Now, I've been training in the professional wrestling business for almost 2 years, right about 1 year and 6 months. And I just recently graduated from Extreme Wrestling Center. They're friends with the Wrestle Talk podcast. And the Extreme Wrestling Center in Raytown, Missouri. And I just had a quick question because I know that other young people in the business might be listening, people who maybe want to get into the business one day. But my question is, what is the best advice that has ever been given to you from somebody that you either trained with or somebody that you have become friends with who's traveled the roads? What is the best advice that you've ever been given?
Oh, man, best advice I've ever been given. Man, I am such a mutt when it comes to training because I've gotten so much help from so many people. And the one thing that sticks out to me is the mouth closed, eyes open, ears open. Because, and I see it a lot nowadays whenever when someone's like, hey, did you happen to watch my match? And whenever I start to give feedback, even in mid-feedback, they're already giving me rebuttal back. They're not even letting me finish. And I'm just kind of like, well, I guess there's no point of me helping you if if you already have the rebuttal back, you're not even listening to me. You're just instantly giving me feedback on why this messed up, or it's this person's fault, or this. And sometimes you're going to come across guys that you may not respect their opinion. Like, you may not think of them as like a Jay Lethal or ACH, if you will. You know what I mean? Like, there are guys, to me, I feel like wrestling is a huge knowledge tree. And I feel like you can get knowledge from anyone. And even if you don't respect the person as a professional, I feel like even those people have something to offer. I feel like you should definitely keep your mouth shut, eyes open, ears open, and just welcome all type of knowledge. You know what I mean? I feel like it's up to you to take what is given to you, take it apart, and learn from it. You know what I mean? That's how I've always been. There are guys that, like, I surpassed them in wrestling as far as just, like, the things that I've done, and I've learned a lot more. But I still have nothing but respect for those guys, because when I was starting off, those were the guys I was going to, looking for advice, looking for help. And it's weird because now they come to me asking me for help and advice, and I'm like, man, I look up to you, you know what I mean? But that just goes to show you that, like, advice is, it can come from anybody, and it can come from anywhere. So I think you should just take in all advice. Don't take it all in at once and just do it. I think you take it apart, and then you try to understand it, and you try to grow your own opinion from it. I mean, that's honestly the best I can say. Feet to the ground, head to the sky, mouth closed, ears open, eyes open. You know, that's the best thing I can give anybody.
You know what? I love that. Thank you, Drew, for calling in with that wonderful question. You know what, ACH? You probably didn't think you were going to get any advice here on the Wrestle Talk podcast, man. But I do have a little bit of advice for you. If you happen to be in Kansas City anytime soon, man, definitely do not go to the Church's Chicken on 75th and Truman, because I went there earlier today, bro, and it was bad news. Oh man, you know we like to.
What is that?
Yeah, I don't know. That was this guy.
No.
In a lot of ways, and this is the first time we're interacting with each other, man. I think we have a lot of parallels. We like to have fun. We like to keep it positive. I know you were on hold kind of before you came on. That's what this show is all about, man. It's all tongue-in-cheek. We have tons of respect for everybody that comes on the show, even if they are a quote-unquote ruthless bad guy. And we do that to try to keep hope alive, that the fine art of wrestling, which you love so much, ACH, will stay alive and well, not just for the rest of our generations, but I got a little kid. I know you got nieces and nephews and stuff, and you want them to be able to enjoy the sport the same way that we do. So I just find it fantastic, and I like to have a good laugh, because really, ultimately, that's what wrestling is, man. It's an escape from reality, and I think people become a little bit they become too good at it, or they become... from a fan's perspective, they become too knowledgeable, they're jaded, and then they have a hard time enjoying it. You know what I mean? It's like you guys doing the gimmick match, or you guys are doing every wrestling move known to man that everyone hates, and it goes over. I mean, that's what it's all about, man. If you guys are nitpicking everything you're watching, just be careful where you do that, because you might be sitting behind a kid that is at his first wrestling show, and you could possibly ruin it for him. So don't be that jerk. You know what I'm saying? And I think... ACH, I'm sure you would agree with that, right?
I agree 100%. There's a lot of things that I keep away from my nephews because I don't want them to get soured on wrestling. You know what I mean? Like, there's just a lot of things I keep away from my family as well, because I want them to be able to enjoy it. And I feel like sometimes as fans, I feel like we kill the enjoyment for ourselves and for others. I remember I read something actually yesterday that kind of irritated me. And some guy was like, yeah, I've been watching wrestling for 20 years, and I don't consider myself a fan. I consider myself a supporter. And I was like, wait, what?
You tripping, bro.
Wait,
tripping. You tripping, cuz?
I was like, yeah. I was like, so since you consider yourself a supporter, that gives him the right to say whatever he wants to say and speak his mind, and because I guess he can't. I guess he doesn't want to come off like a mark or have too much fandom. And I'm like, I don't know if any fan ever realized that the biggest mark in the wrestling industry are the wrestlers themselves, because we liked it so much, we decided to get half naked and travel the world to do it. Like,
I said ass naked.
You know what I mean? Like,
I said naked.
We're the biggest marks out there.
No doubt. You know what? Some guy.
No, I don't know.
Some guy says he's a supporter, but he's not a fan. I wonder what Iron Sheik would say about that.
I don't know.
All right. Well, yeah, dude. Well, ACH, man, real quick, bro. We know you're busy, man. You were nice enough to join us on the show today, man, and we want to respect your time. I do want to let you know, Chicago, St. Louis, Waterloo, Florida, West Virginia, like our Facebook Live has been going nuts, just telling people, saying, hey, we want ACH back. We want ACH back. Hey, listen, tweet at ACH. He will read your tweets. He might even respond. But if you want him back in your part of the country or your part of the world, go ahead and hit that man up, because I'm sure he wants to continue traveling and entertaining you guys like the way he's done for the last 8 to 10 years or so that you've been in the business. But this has been fun, ACH. It's been cordial. It's been a blast. But there's one thing I got to do, man. I got to knock this off of my bucket list for 2017. And I want to step in the squared circle with ACH. That's right. The Night Owl versus ACH in tonight's Wrestle Talk podcast, final of 2017 game show challenge. My question is, sir, are you ready to knuckle up and throw down, or what, homie?
Pull up.
Pull up. Let's go, baby. Vámonos. Ahorita mismo. Let's go. All right, intern Timmy, hit the music, baby. Let's go to the Wrestle Talk game show challenge.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, in honor of New Japan Pro Wrestling's Wrestle Kingdom 12 event to be held on Thursday, January the 4th, tonight's Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge will be Wrestle Kingdom Gaijin. According to the dictionary, the term Gaijin is best interpreted to mean foreigner or outsider. All tonight's answers will be wrestlers that have competed at Wrestle Kingdom but are from outside of the country of Japan. I'm basically going to be giving you a couple clues to a wrestler, and all you have to do is shout out your answer. Whoever shouts out the correct answer first gets a point. Whoever gets 3 points wins. It's pretty simple, correct?
I think I got all that.
You gotta beat me.
Wait, okay.
You gotta beat me.
Okay, well, hey, listen, don't feel bad. Hey, ACH, listen, you gotta win, bro, because I am on a 14 match losing streak. Okay, I am the Kurt Hawkins of the Wrestle Talk Podcast Trivia Challenge. I've lost to Savio Vega. I've lost to the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. I've lost to Tracy Smothers. Who the hell did I lose to? I lost to Kurt Gannon last week. I mean, I lost to Matt Jackson when we played with him last time. So, ACH, this is basically, I'm the jobber and you're ACH. Just put it to you that way. Uh-oh. Here we go. No pressure. No pressure. All right, Nightmare. Let's do it, baby.
Here's your first question. At Wrestle Kingdom 2 in 2008, this man defeated the IWGP Third Championship against the challenger Yuji Nagata. And in 2017, you can still see him every Monday night as the WWE Hall of Famer and current Raw General Manager. Name him.
Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle would be correct.
Take that, ACH!
You're gonna beat me.
I'm one away.
All right. At Wrestle Kingdom 11 last year, this man defeated Kyle O'Reilly to win the Ring of Honor World Championship. Today you can see him every Wednesday alongside Kyle O'Reilly in NXT. Name him, baby.
Adam Cole, baby.
Adam Cole. Adam Cole would be correct. ACH has won. The Night Owl has won. Uh-oh.
Oh, here
we go.
Man, you got to be kidding me right now, man.
Okay. At Wrestle Kingdom 10, this man challenged for the IWGP Intercontinental Championship but lost to Shinsuke Nakamura. 20 days later, he made his WWE debut, entering the Royal Rumble at number
AJ Styles.
3.
AJ Styles.
AJ Styles. AJ Styles would be correct. I can't believe this. Rene has actually won the challenge.
I knew it.
Wait a minute. I finally won, and I beat my favorite wrestler in the whole world. Nightmare Jones, you better hit my music right now, man. I'm tired of y'all setting me up for losses. I deserve this win, baby. Hit my music. Hey!
All I do is win.
Win no matter what. Hey! Hey! Let's go up. Hey! And they stay there. And they stay there. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man.
How about this? I'll challenge you. I'll take away your win and give it to me if you can answer this question.
Hold on. What is my incentive for giving you my win? I don't know. Hey, you know what?
It's a question regarding the song that you just played.
Okay.
Okay. Can you finish this lyric?
Oh, really?
I got money on my mind. I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hand goes up. And they stay there. Blank, blank, blank.
And they stay there. And they stay there. And they stay there. No. Yeah, baby.
No.
Yes.
No.
What?
That's not the lyric. The original, the lyric is, and they stay there, and they say, yeah.
Man, come on, man. You ain't taking my win with that nonsense. Come on, man. How y'all gonna set me up like this, man? Man, you are worse than the Dallas Cowboys, sir. Shenanigans and tomfoolery.
Whoa.
Yeah, you heard me.
Whoa. Don't you dare put that heat on me.
You heard me. ACH. Really? Really? Come on, man. You hit me with the auto-tune baby cry, bro. Oh, man. You know what? ACH, Nightmare Jones, members of the Wrestle Talk family, man. 2017 was crazy. We got to do things we never thought we would. We got to interview guys we never thought that we would. And you know what? There's no better guest to close out 2017 than ACH for this reason. ACH, you are a guy that loves life, man, and you don't take anything for granted, sir, just from what I've seen, and you're grateful for every opportunity you've ever been given, just like we're grateful that you made some time for us tonight, man. So do me a favor, not that you have to, man, how can people follow ACH on social media and such?
This is my favorite part. You can follow me at GoACH on Twitter, or you can go to Instagram, follow me at GoACHGo. You'll know it's me because I got the cool blue check mark. It is a great tool to spark a conversation with a chick at a bar.
No doubt.
Probably won't get her number.
Check out my blue check, baby.
How this works. Yeah. I'm relatively young.
No doubt.
You know.
Hey, wait, I got a question about your social media. Hey, ACH, bro, it's been killing me, bro. I got to ask you this. I mean, the interview's basically over, but dude, what is the deal with you putting Davey on your Twitter? I mean, I love it. I think it's great, but how the hell, what is Davey doing on your Twitter joint, bro? I don't understand.
At an AAW show once, I completely just trolled Vega the entire show, and I would zoom in on his face, and Eddie Kingston would have the whole locker room chanting, "Oh, F Davey Vega." So we were just constantly throwing, and I had zoomed in on his face, and he made that face, and I was just like, this is great. And I want to share this with the entire world. So I slapped his Twitter handle on his forehead, and I made it my profile picture. And I'm hoping he at least gained 10 to 20 followers because of it. I have tweeted out stuff, and people think it's him tweeting. Anything ever.
Oh man, that's freaking that's epic.
I must say that I must say that when I went to Pro Wrestling Tees, I kind of laughed at some of your shirts because you have a shirt that has the Moose from TNA. That you actually have a shirt that has his face on there.
If you go to Twitter and you Twitter search hashtag Moose Questions, you will understand the T-shirt, and you will spend at least 15 minutes laughing your hardest. I guarantee you. If you go to Twitter, and you Twitter search hashtag Moose Questions, or just Moose Questions, you will find some of the funniest tweets that are probably still going until this day, actually, because I still get hit up every once in a while with random ones. But yes, hashtag Moose Questions or just Moose Questions, whatever. You'll find some of the best tweets you've found in a long time. It was probably one of the most trendy things going on, and it was very positive because Moose doesn't take himself serious. That's like a whole other interview in itself. Sorry. So yeah,
dude,
it's
all
great. You can check it out.
It's all good. Well, two last bits of business, and then we're out of here. Number one, ACH, an honor and a pleasure, dude. Please consider yourself a new member of the Wrestle Talk family. And then also, the last thing is how them Cowboys going to do in the playoffs this year?
They're not in the playoffs, jerk.
Got him!
I'm not a Cowboys fan. My nephew's upset now because he just heard the joke. But my nephew's a huge Cowboys fan.
I'm sorry. Hey, my son is a huge Cowboys fan. My son is a huge Cowboys fan, and he's been in timeout ever since. So that's just how we do it around here. Hey, ACH, you have a blessed evening, man. Please do not be a stranger. We'd love to have you back in 2018 if you'll make some time for us, all right?
Man, I'd love to be back. This was so much fun, man. Thank you.
Grace and peace, brother. Take it easy.
Peace. Oh, my goodness. Woo!
Hey, you heard the man.
That was literally... Yes.
You heard the man.
That was literally my favorite interview that we had done this year. Oh, my goodness. That was so awesome.
Well, you know what, Joe? I was going to ask you what your favorite interview of the year was, and I was going to have you ask me the same thing back. I loved every interview we did this year, but that one, Luke Roberts.
Yes.
Luke Roberts. We love you for that because you know how long we've been wanting to have ACH on the show. I don't even care if nobody even listens to this episode. I'm gonna go ahead, that was my shooting shot about the movie playing over and over, Rango playing over and over since Christmas. I'm gonna be playing this interview till next Christmas, baby, because it was the best. Thank you, everybody who tuned into the Facebook Live throughout the whole show. Thank you for sharing. If you're listening to on a replay, leave us a rating. Please make sure you're not a stranger. WrestleTalkPodcast.com. New website coming in 2018. Royal Rumble Watch Party and Nightmare Jones. God bless you, man. Getting to know you and being your partner, man, was one of the greatest blessings that ever happened to me in my life, man. This would not have been possible without you. Thank you for everything, sir. I am an honor, and it is a pleasure to be called your friend and partner here on the Wrestle Talk podcast, man. That's it. We're done for 2017, baby. Close it out however you want and play something good to close out the show. Because you know what? I got some cold french fries over there I got to eat. And I'm hungry, man, because I'm telling you, that goat chicken go kill me earlier. It was bad, Joe. I'm out of here. I got to get up. I got to get out. Just don't cut me off because I want to hear the song, too. Shout out, Wrestle Talk podcast family. You know what we do, baby!
Please.
Play.
Sure. Came is in the building.
Alright, already the show goes on all night. Every morning we dream so long. Anybody ever wonder when they would see the thunder? Remember when you come up?